Yeah, it's been a couple of months since we've done an update really. I think it was probably end of June when we caught up with everyone last. So there's been plenty going on in the background as always with the website updates. We've made some changes, some new photographs. There's a few new bits of merchandise as always, the blueprint t-shirts and the polo shirts which have been popular. A few more bits to come as well, so keep your eyes on the website and the social media channels. And yeah, a little bits of progress on the aircraft as well, some external bits and plenty of progress internally in the cabin area. So if we just check out a couple of bits, we'll see John and Tom mainly have been working on the aircraft. John's been working on a few bits, the exhaust heat shields, which you can see are not installed at the moment, but we've just been sort of trial fitting those and just finessing those really to make sure they fit properly, which is a nice addition. And then the nacelle afterbodies as well, you can see that they're both installed both on the port and starboard sides now. So things are coming together. We're pretty much there with the engines and external bits, so things are coming together nicely externally. And yeah, finally we should be able to have the fuel tanks installed in the next week or so as well. We've just been waiting on some rubber seals for these, so they're due in any day, so we'll be able to get those installed, which is nice. And there's been a bit of a delay on the rubber seals for the fuel tanks. It's unfortunately not something you can just buy off the shelf, and we were a bit surprised to learn that there was a 3-month lead time on them, and they're obviously pretty expensive to produce as well. But we've had that done locally, but yeah, we've been waiting over the 3 months now. So we've had a sample which we've trial fitted, and the others are due in any day. So as with everything else we've done, it's you got to get it right. It's crucial, you know, from a safety perspective and also an originality perspective. So we've got to make sure that it's 100% accurate. Another thing you can see down here, this is the ducting to go in the cabin. So once we finish the painting out and the detailing, we'll probably get the formation lights in first into the roof, and then we'll be able to get that installed as well, and be another thing ticked off. Lots of detailed stuff been going on inside. Mainly that's been, well, pretty much exclusively Tom working on that actually. And you know, most of it's hard to put into words and describe how much sort of time, research, effort and hours go into the internal stuff really. I mean, we've been plugging holes internally for what seems like an eternity, and you know, Tom's still been beavering away on that over the last few weeks and months. But finally we've got the final paint finish internally. So from the cargo door forward, where you can see we've got to, that is the final paint finish now, which is really nice to see. And it's a great paint. You know, we've been, you know, Indestructible Paints have been incredibly generous in supplying that to us, and it's a wonderful finish. So you know, we're really grateful to those guys there, and that's enabled us really to progress the detail in the cabin and to get some little, what we call original, you know, sort of items and trinkets, if you like, sort of installed. So things like this, the manual parapack release handle, which unbelievably Preferred Air Parts actually had in stock, which is really cool. So that's going to go in there. That's the bracket, and there's going to be a fairing to go here with an original fire extinguisher, which is another great detail. And the bracket for the parapack release panel, which Neil's fabricated, which again is just awesome detail really. So yeah, Tom's been working on that. Litter straps and litters generally are something that's been a topic for discussion over the last week or so. Yeah, so litters are what Americans would call stretchers. So you know, when Night Fright and various other C-47s, you know, flew into France to carry supplies, they would often do a CASEVAC, a casualty evacuation on the way back. So you know, they would fold away the paratroop benches and put up the stretchers in the aircraft on either side, you know, where the paratroop benches were located, and they'd use them for casualty evacuations. So when we're on the ground at an air show, you know, we want to demonstrate that. So perhaps we'll have one side with the paratrooper benches on display and another side of the aircraft with the litters, to demonstrate the various different roles that the aircraft played and sort of educate people as to what happened really. And you can see where Tom's been working away. I mean, it's hard to show the detail and the time, but if you just look at these little bits here, just the endless amount of holes that have needed plugging just to get the cabin area just looking perfect and hitting all of that detail that we're looking for really. And you know, you can waste hours just working on little bits like that, and you know, you come up a few weeks later and you think that, you know, there's not a lot of progress been made, and But when you actually start looking at the detail and the amount of work that goes into those kind of things, you appreciate where the time goes. Yeah, something else Tom's been working on, and John to a certain extent as well, is some of the cabling, and probably pretty hard to see, but if we move one of these boards, just gives you an idea of some of the cabling involved. I mean, Tom's made a start on some of that. I mean, some of that is for the fuel, and some of that's for the propellers, but we've still got the major control runs and cabling to do, and that's probably something that we're going to be looking at in the next probably 4 to 6 weeks. So I mean, the plan for September and probably some of October is to get stuck into those cabling jobs really, and progress the cabin. We're going to look to have the windows installed by the end of September, the rest of the cabin painted out finally, and then just adding some of that detail, getting the formation lights in the roof, all of the little trinkets, the fire extinguishers, first aid kits, litter stowage straps, and just adding the detail to the cabin really. So I think in 4 to 6 weeks you'll probably see quite a big difference in the cabin and things really progressing. Yeah, once we've got the detailing in the cabin done, that will sort of free us up and enable us to get these in. So these supports for the paratrooper benches, they just need stripping and painting really. So we'll finally be able to get both of those installed, which is good news, and will transform the cabin. And we'll probably be able to get the tailplane on as well. That's been ready for a while, but we haven't put it on for various reasons. So just a case of putting it together and getting it installed, and that will transform the rear of the aircraft, and all of a sudden it'll be progressing pretty quickly. So hopefully over the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks we should see a fair bit of progress. There'll be a few nice things happening externally with the tailplane, a few other bits and pieces. The fuel tanks, that's another good one, but hopefully the cabin should be transformed and you'll start to see a lot more progress and a lot more detail. And as always, things going on around the edge of the project. We're actually launching a new children's range of merchandise, so keep your eyes on the website and social media channels for that, for our younger fans. Yeah, lots of exciting things coming up inside the hangar and outside the hangar. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the website as usual, and all the social media channels. And yeah, as always, a shout out to Joe and the guys at Infinite Pixel for the fantastic content they're creating for us. So thanks again, Joe.